Do blacks and whites really hate each other? I know some white people. I hate them. I don't really hate them. I just dislike them very strongly. I know some black people that I like very strongly. Don't have any that I love really. Don't love much of anybody except for everybody. I love everybody, but like when it comes to like person to person love, not really. But I do know a lot of white people. I dislike more of the white people than I do black people. Let's put it that way. And there's a whole lot of black people that I do like. But let's see what other people have to say about, do blacks and whites really hate each other? And I bet a few of these people are going to lie because they're on camera. Especially if they notice that it's Crowder. I almost forgot his name. All right, let's check it out.
Are your personal interactions with white
Whoop. I don't know why my button's not working.
people worse than ever? Yeah. So if you've turned on the news or even glanced at social media over the last few years, you'd probably be under the impression that race relations, particularly between white and black Americans, is at an all-time low. The race wars are on the way, if you will. Because you have black people speak on behalf of black people, white people speak on behalf of white people, black people telling white people apologizing to black people, but you don't often see black people and white people just talking. Is this reflective of our real-world experiences?
What? Where does this guy, where does he live? What places does he go? Because everybody talks to everybody here. Like, if there's a black guy, I'm gonna talk to him. If there's a white guy, I'm gonna talk to him, even if I dislike them. Just to be polite, you know? I've actually, like, never been to a place. I'd stay out of the cities. I've been to, like, 3 cities, 4 cities my entire life. Like, big cities. Most of the places that I go, the black and white people are integrated together. No ghettos, nothing like that. I really think segregation causes the things like that, like ghettos and things. If everybody's integrated together, yeah, you got the poor area, but it's not like ghost town.
I think you may be surprised with what I found when I actually went out and did something crazy, talked with people. This is Black and White on the Gray Issues. First question, I guess, to you is, what would you say race relations are like in the States right now? Where do you think they are?
I think it's almost even, man. Whereas, what I mean when I say even, like, okay, you know, there's still some work to be done.
Sure.
But there's not as much work that needs to be done. Because when you think about race relations right now, today,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, everybody is basically communicating with each other.
I think a little bit of overcorrection is happening with the crazy people on both sides.
Everybody is doing their thing together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're linking up on different fronts. They just taking care of their business, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, you got some people that are dummies who really don't, you can say, want to get with the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got, you know what I'm saying, because it's a lot of things going on in the world. Man.
Yeah. Well, you're always going to have individual racists, right?
There's a lot of dummies out
It
there.
sounds to me like you're saying you think that they're...
And they're very loud and very annoying, and they want to be heard. They don't want to be left alone. They want you to try and mess with them. I, however, don't want to talk to them. Don't want to talk to nobody, really. I want to be left alone. I like have one-on-one conversation, maybe a group of 5 guys, smoking cigars, smoking a couple bowls of some marijuana, drinking some whiskey or whatever, having a couple beers, whatever, just hanging out. I like that kind of stuff. I don't like sitting down and like, hey, your ideas make no fucking sense. And then they're like, hey, you're a bigot. No, don't like that.
Better now than they were before. That they're
No, I'm saying times are better. Man.
yeah.
Because if you go back to Emmett Till, people like that,
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying? The times then versus the times now.
Yeah.
If you come to Deep Element,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're gonna see.
Then we kind of ended up with more of that, right? Emmett Till and Me Too came out, and there were a bunch of people being falsely accused.
But on the same token, what I'm saying, like you saying race relations and issues. When I come to Deep Element, that's all I see is
Celebrating 2,000 views in a month.
everybody's, just like
Yeah.
connected with each other.
Well, that's what I see in real life, but I mean in the media. In the media, oftentimes things are stoked, where they make it seem like it's worse. I mean, no, you don't think so? Well, that's a good thing.
I really think that like the media function is like on a scale bigger than what people think. You know what I'm saying? And I think that like I really believe that today how the media operate, it can't operate with that basic regular stuff that it used to operate with.
Right.
So they have to go like deep cover.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And really get the good juice, good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah.
Man, Crowder's getting some, like, straight up white in his beard. Not even gray, it is white.
Yeah. So you think media has an interest in controversy and making race relations seem worse than they are in real life?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
That's what I find too. I find that my interactions, having been raised in a church where it was mixed, a lot of black people in church, and being a comic, being around a lot of guys, my interactions are very different from what you see in the media as far as the...
When we say this here, man,
Yeah.
see, like, when you start putting labels on things, that's when things get messed up, right?
Right.
So, like, bam,
I agree.
if we all American, right? We all American, right?
Yeah.
So,
Arguably, that's a label.
like, if I go to a hospital and I need a blood transfusion, right? I can't say, don't put that white blood in me or that Mexican blood. You feel me? I got accepted blood that they're gonna give me. I hope it, work.
That's a
That is a very good point. I like that.
good analogy.
Oh, good, on God.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that ever since people put analogies on, that's when it got messed up.
Yeah.
Because now you can view this as something different.
Right. That's a black thing. That's a white
he's
thing.
Black.
Yeah.
He's white. But see, you know what I'm saying? What about the American culture?
Yeah. So do
The
you
great melting pot.
He said analogies. I think he meant labels.
are you proud to be American?
Right.
Yeah, man. You think it's a great country, flaws, but proud to be American?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
what do you? And that's been my experience with both white and black Americans. What do you think about obviously this happened Deep Elm, like Black Lives Matter?
I think all lives matter.
Oh shoot.
But I think that people.
But if I say that, I'm a white supremacist, right? They said you can't say that. It was a racist term.
Listen, I think this is what I think that all people do. I think all people use the race issue as a platform for some bullshit sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Sometimes, I think all the time. Race baiting. If you say anything about race, pretty much, unless it's like straight up facts, not what you think is facts, like actual scientific proven facts, then I don't know what my point was. Don't be race baiting, man. You look like a fucking idiot.
And
Yeah.
sometimes they let alcohol, things of that nature, you understand me, wiring them up to say some shit that they really don't mean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to
Oh no, they mean it.
catch someone.
You know what I'm saying? No, but it's kind of like crazy. Like, say, like, you might be with some of your white partners, y'all out drinking. So, bam, and y'all have some words with someone, and then here it is, boom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it because if I say it, I'm gonna have
But
a
I'm
bunch
saying,
of
like,
fists coming down.
People that do that. You have people that do that under the influence, and then the next day regret that they did something
Okay.
like that.
So you're saying someone could say that in
I'm not gonna regret it.
a moment of anger and not be a racist.
Correct.
Just
I wouldn't say it in a moment of anger, though. That's ridiculous. If I said it as a joke, I ain't regretting it. A joke's a joke, even if you didn't laugh or even if you got offended. Like, it's not my responsibility. Don't get offended. Sorry.
be mad.
Most definitely.
Like if you get mad or something, and you're with a friend and you say, I hate, or like when you're a kid, you say, Dad, I hate you. You don't really hate him. You're just like, we got into a fight. So someone could just say something that doesn't mean they're a racist. It means they had a moment of weakness and anger. Yeah. No, I agree. And then we judge people at their worst moment. And that's really messed
But
up.
everybody gonna be judged.
Yep.
Yeah. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, let me ask. I appreciate it too, man. I actually think your point of view is refreshing. That people should hear this, because a lot of people out there. I will tell you this: A lot of white people out there are scared to have conversations. They're scared because they're scared. A lot of white people are, man, because they're afraid of being called a racist if they.
I'm gonna tell you, it's the ones that ain't got.
He is right. I know a lot of people that either are racist or like say they're not racist, but then can't talk to black people.
No business going on, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's scary because if you got some business going on, man.
Yeah.
Money don't have color, bro.
This is true. I don't give a fuck about money. I don't give a fuck about race. Unless it's funny.
Right.
You feel me? So you got to deal with everybody. So you have to have relationships with different types of people, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got to learn how. So that means that, you understand me, as an American, in America, I got to be like switching up to be a Mexican, to be able to talk to all cultures, man.
Yeah.
But we just one culture, man. We just need to throw all those
No, we're a bunch of different cultures that should be working together.
Hispanics and all that shit. I ain't saying forget about your history or nothing like that.
Right.
I'm just saying we got a history here.
Yeah. Not be colorblind, but
Yeah,
we have
man.
more in common than we have that's
Yeah,
different.
But we also need to unify on different fronts, and you understand me, and get all these different, you understand me.
Yeah, if we all got the same mindset, we're all going to go to the same goal. And then where are we going to go from there? Especially if we don't meet that goal. Then we didn't meet any goals. We got to have people with different mindsets doing different things. Or everybody's going to be building the same ladder.
Ideologies and social programs and all this shit that's jumping off. Get that, man, move that out the way, man.
Yeah.
And that's it, live life, man. If you do something, take your lick.
Yeah, take responsibility for it.
I will.
Yeah.
All the time.
No, and I appreciate
Yeah.
What's the point of telling everybody to build the same hammer if it's a shitty hammer?
That's one thing that I appreciate
for
is
real.
the accountability
Yeah.
culture, what
So,
you're talking
like,
about.
Nowadays, you got a lot of people out here, they not taking accountability.
No? You think
No.
that's the big problem on all fronts?
I think so.
I agree.
See, like if you got one finger pointing at you, you got one pointing back too, cause your thumb pointing back at you.
That'd be a white ass finger too. He's as white as they get. That's Russian,
he
this
needs
dude right here.
He needs some sunlight, like.
He's got SPF ozone layer on right now.
Yeah, man.
Well, all right, let me ask you a couple. So these are like some issues that you hear about in the media, and they turn it into a racial issue, and I don't think it is, right? Do you think, for example, voting, to have identification, just any kind of ID, does that make sense to you? You think you should have ID to vote?
I think the only way you should have ID or need ID is if there is a census. See, if there's a census, that means that you done counted everybody, so you know how many people live in the county, right?
Right.
So, bam. So if we got, say, 50,000 in the county, then, you gotta have a census.
I like this guy. He's on point, bro.
You gotta have ID. So now your ID validates your vote.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's exactly. Yeah, I think we agree on that one. Right now, a big cultural issue going on. Like biological men, the trans men competing in women's sports.
Hey, I don't think that should be done. I think that if he's born a dude, no matter what his sexuality is, I think that he's still in the eyes of man and God gonna remain a dude.
Yeah.
So he can cut his penis off. He can, inflate his chest.
Yeah.
He can put it and his butt. It's still a dude.
I don't know what he
man.
does with his butt.
You know
I don't
what
think
I'm
that's part of the
saying? 'Cause
procedure.
He still got testosterone, man.
Yeah, or at least he did.
Yeah.
No, that's a big issue. Well, here, do you think it's crazy though that what you just said, and I agree with you, could be labeled hate speech, right? Because now they'll say, "Oh, you're transphobic."
No. Because look, this is what people don't understand. Like when they have made homosexuality a mental disease, man. You know what I'm saying? You can be put on psych medication to be a homosexual.
Yeah.
Or for being, just because you're a homosexual.
Well, you're saying now they've enabled it with the sports stuff, where it's like, you can't have dudes compete.
No, I'm talking about they have a psych term.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like say this dude is homosexual, you can go in a DSM new mental book and look up a diagnosis up under homosexuality.
Yeah. Well, they changed it though, like with trans. So did you know that?
Yeah.
They changed it where it used to be body dysmorphia was if you were, claiming you were transgender. They said it was a disorder of someone who thought they were, transgender. But now they changed it to say, oh no, you are actually a woman. It's a symptom of the fact that you're born in the wrong body.
You can't be a woman.
So there's no such thing as trans anymore? There's just men and women again? What's going on? I haven't been keeping up with the LMNOP alphabet soup people in a while. So I'm kind of lost on all of that. Are transvestites part of the LGBT now? Is that a thing? Are they considered men? Because that's what transvestites are. Is that offensive now? Is there a new word for it? No.
No, yeah.
Hope I don't get banned for saying that, even though it's an actual term.
That's just a lot of people just having too many ideas in their head, man. And then like people take things too literal sometimes, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like religion, all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think that at the end of the day, man, if you go through your problems and live your problems, and if you happy with what you got going on, then everything's great with you.
We're all
Yeah, as long as you're keeping it over there. I don't want to deal with your problems. I don't need you to be peeking over in on my problems.
Americans, right? And you believe in personal accountability.
And don't take your problems to the store with you. The store is supposed to be the store, man. That's where you get food. There ain't no drama when you're getting food.
All lives matter. People need to stop making it all about race.
That's right. And no snitching.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hey, that's one thing I do appreciate about the black community for sure. I've had a few of these guys are snitches. I'm not sure that they're not. You know. Hey, Brian. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, oh, man. I appreciate it, man. That was refreshing. Thanks. Josiah? Nice to meet you, Josiah.
I do like that guy. That guy was cool. He seemed like he was a little all over the place, and he seemed like he was uneducated, if I could say that. But it seems like he probably had a like rough education growing up, and then learned how to educate himself. Because the dude was smart.
Here, let me grab it, because last time I was doing an interview there, and they opened the door and it hit us, so I'm an idiot. So, where's the best place for us to be? How would you sort of characterize, or how do you view like race relations in the United States right now? How do you see it?
I do believe a lot of it is an agenda. So again, I look at the thing from like a micro level, like. Yeah. The things that they are portraying and projecting right now, I think that is to distract people from what's really important. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at the race issues, and I believe that's what you're talking about right now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like there's a racial divide.
That's what the media how they portray it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily believe that. I'm a light-skinned person myself, so if you know what that means,
not compared to these guys. I mean, unless you're translucent.
Yeah. I'm black and white.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've definitely experienced both sides of the spectrum when it comes to things like that. So I lived in a place like Louisiana, which was very southern, right? And if you know the history of Louisiana, like it's, I guess it was a very racial place. But my growing up there in high school, I experienced a lot more racism from the black people than from the white people, and that's
really
weird to say, yeah. But and then when I
like what kind of racism would you experience from black people?
I would say like when you talk about like discrimination against a group,
like you ain't black, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I feel that I was discriminated towards because of lighter skin. Now the white people in the school, I wouldn't say that there was really any conflict with them between me, and that's what I feel like. It is more what the media wants to do, and what I feel like a lot of even black people are.
It is 100% solely based on what the media does and says. Everything, all of these issues get exacerbated, and none of them are real. It's all a psyop. They're distracting us from what they're actually doing in the government, because they have all these islands that have kids on them. They're fucking these kids. And they're all doing cocaine. Probably all of them are doing cocaine. At least some of them are doing cocaine. And I mean, look at Hunter Biden. And Joe Biden, for that matter. He's creepy with kids, too. He doesn't say nothing about pedophilia or saving children. So, that tells you anything. Doesn't seem like he's actually done anything for children that actually helps them. Giving teachers money, that doesn't count.
I'm struggling with is believing the media and whatnot
That's surprising. As a not half a completely white person, obviously. I mean, I was raised in Canada. I'm very, very white. We're always told, and especially with Barack Obama, that biracial people are always treated like they're black, right? That's what you hear in the media, and that wasn't your experience.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't believe that that's an experience for most, and I believe that America, a lot of people have a victim mentality, and they don't really ever search truth for themselves, and they just get fed a lot of things and a lot of truths. So yeah, that's what I struggle with a lot, especially a place like Dallas. It's a melting pot, you know what I mean? So it's nice to live in a place like this, but then you also see a lot of people just being distracted by all that's going around them and never really searching truth for themselves, and that's what makes me sad. You know what I mean? I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. I believe in the Word of God.
Yeah,
I
brother.
believe in Jesus. So when I see people being deceived by these things that they're portraying to be big, and
Do you believe in Jesus? Or do you know Jesus? Because there's a huge difference.
then actually just distracting them from deeper truth, then I get pretty frustrated by that. So
Man, it's refreshing to hear, because you're saying, I would agree with pretty much everything you just said, right? And I think this is an issue too. Like, I obviously think racism exists to some degree. There are individual racists, like you've experienced it. White people are what you just said, white people would be afraid to say, because they'd be afraid to be accused of being racist, right? That is a fear right now, which I will tell you creates a divide. Like, when Black Lives Matter happened, right? We just talked with 2 or 3 guys. They said, man, I think all lives matter. And I said, no, white people were called supremacists if they said that, so they go, I'm just not going to voice an opinion. That creates more distance. Do you sense that a little bit, where maybe white people are kind of pulling back because they're afraid of it's a witch hunt, that everything is racist? If they express the exact same opinions you just did, most white people that's 100% in common.
yeah, and that's what I would have to say, that there needs to, instead of starting a group that is labeled Black Lives Matter, which again, like so I see a lot on the media, right, of like when like somebody will post like, oh, this strong black woman, and then and that happens by the black community, where they continue to describe themselves and kind of belittle themselves by their skin color, that like, okay, that's what's important about me, I mean, what I'm saying. And I don't think that's what's important about anybody. And even when it goes into and this might be a little bit off topic, but when you go into the gay community or the trans community, it's funny to me
It's
how
completely
their
on topic.
whole identity is wrapped in their sexuality. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just see like that's a very sad life to live for anybody. And even as, like, let's say I walked around here light-skinned, and I started, or an African American, you know what I mean? I walked around here and I made my whole life just about my skin color, and praising that and lifting that up. I just think that that's the biggest waste of time and a distraction that I think the media tries to push. And I think the best thing they could do is continue to keep tension between racial groups when there really shouldn't be any. Again, in my life, I haven't came across anybody, and when they talk about like systemic racism, that hasn't been my experience with life at all. So I think that people really need to
I haven't experienced any racism whatsoever.
look into their own life experiences and not take the life experiences of certain people and then claim that as their own just because it's from their same racial group. So
I think that was very well said. Let me ask you one kind of question in closing. Why do you think what you just said? By the way, it's a mixed group. They're white, but a mixed group of people here. We have Russian, we have Polish. Sometimes black people don't realize like not all white people are the same. But everyone would agree with what you just said. It was well spoken. Why do you think what you just said is not something that is ever echoed as representative of the black community in the media, meaning with CNN, places like that? What you've just said, you don't hear as a voice in the black community.
Wait, if he's in between black and white, wouldn't he be gray-skinned?
I think that the people who do try to speak up in that sense do get shut down and get portrayed as they're crazy or they're psycho or they're mentally ill for having strong opinions. And that's what frustrates me about the media, is that like and it's true that people,
Then let him think you're mentally ill.
even on Instagram, you see stuff that is calling out like liberal groups of people. It says sensitive, false content. You know what I mean? So when you see stuff getting censored like that, and it's like, then you see that already there's an agenda that that they don't want truth to be made known. So that's what I say. I think it goes a lot deeper than just the conversation of black and white, or even what these people are doing. I think that there's a much deeper agenda, and I think it goes all the way down to that the devil has a plan for this world, but God also has one too, and that's for Jesus to be made known.
I would certainly agree with you, man. And here's the thing: would it surprise you that, like, we've spoken with a lot of people, a lot of black men today, and what you're saying is not uncommon. Like, there are a lot of dudes that think the same way, but people don't talk.
Yeah.
Like, we have a lot more in common than separates us. And I agree, man. It's a symptom of the heart.
Yeah.
It's not a symptom of the melanin level.
Yeah.
It's not.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. So I appreciate what you guys do. You know what I mean? I would say that conversations are very much needed. I love a lot of. I love the work of people who like to sit down and have conversation, and I think that we are starting to see a lot more people.
There's a black dude and a white dude conversing right there.
People rise up and
I don't know if they're
and
with Crowder,
trying to
though.
get out of,
They probably are.
It just starts with talking, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It just starts with talking with people, not listening to what other people are. It's like a game of telephone. Remember? And so what happens with a lot of white people and black people is like, black people think this. And then it goes, Van Jones goes, black people think that? And he goes, black people think this. And the white people are like, oh, okay, let me go tell other white people. Black people think this. And then at the end, we're like, oh, yeah, all black people are trans activist communists or whatever the hell it is. And people are like, what? That's not what I said.
Yeah.
I said Apple, like in phone. I'll just say, hey, man, I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you. Be blessed.
That was really dumb.
You guys as well. Thank
For
you
sure.
so much.
Now, before we move on to the next conversation, and Josiah was not a plant, I absolutely swear, if you appreciate these kinds of discussions, hit the like button.
I'm reserving my right to hit that like button for now.
Comment below if any of this has surprised you thus far, or if you'd like to see more of these, and do consider checking out the Live Daily
If I don't end up hitting that like button, I'm hitting the dislike button.
Show Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, or preferably Rumble. How would you sort of characterize race relations in the United States today between like white and black people?
Between white and blacks, again, depending on where you are society-wise, a lot of times, oftentimes, if your zip code determines your interaction.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you're from my neck of the woods, it's all.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from here, from Dallas. So,
Okay.
But the zip codes in Dallas dictate or determine
Right.
how often you interact with someone. So, for my profession, I'll say it for this way: if I'm on a certain side of town,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to protect and serve,
Right.
but yet the same, if you see me as is,
Yeah.
you clutch your purse, or just big Dominican black guy with tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's afraid. On the other side of town, it's like, hey, bro, how you doing, man? Come on over.
Right.
So it all depends on where you're located and your exposure, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So you think that in certain areas of town, you think that the white people, like you said, white women are afraid of you?
No,
Or-
no, actually, not at all. Actually, no. It all. I think that I have to, as a person speaking for me.
Yeah.
Depends on what area you're in. If you're in my town, nobody's gonna think twice. They'll probably wave at you when they walk by and be like, hey, what's up, man? I like them sunglasses. You know, something like that.
I have to be a bit more receiving. Hi, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
And then, hey, what's up? How you doing?
Right.
That.
No, that second one is what you'd be doing around here. You do that first one, you're probably gonna, I don't know, an old man and be like, are you gay?
That interaction, because I have to be more than.
And do you find that then the interaction is usually positive if you do
Yes,
that?
yes, I do.
It's disarming.
It's somewhat disarming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why do you think some people might have that initial reaction if you don't interact that way?
Depending on whatever their experiences have been. For instance, if it's you see the villain on a TV show or on a movie, always. If it's the guy that's putting his mask down, carjacking, and if he looks.
Oh,
like
dude,
me,
no. I gotta
So-
disagree. If I have to watch another Simply Safe commercial where it's a white guy who kicks in the door at 2 a.m., come on. I have never seen a commercial ever
Well, they're
where a black
smarter
dude is
than
a
that.
criminal.
Well, they're smarter than that. They wouldn't do that. It'd be the end of the.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we
they-
agree on that. They're always like, it's always like
they're
some guy,
smarter than that.
some guy who looks like Gary who's like there to like, I'm here to rob your home. I'm like, that's not what happens.
Yeah, so but it's I think ideally if you put yourselves in an open environment, or if you're
Yeah.
if you're open to it.
Yeah.
If you go to a park and it's not Highland Park, or
Right.
if it's not University Park,
Mhm.
but if it's just a park
Yeah.
Go interact with the kids. Oftentimes, I think that part of society is actually taught to us. And this is my own perspective. If you put a group of 5 and 6-year-olds around in the playground,
Yeah.
they could care less
Yeah, I don't
what
give
the
a fuck.
color of your skin is,
Right.
or where your zip code is, or how much your 401k is, or what your retirement. They could care less.
Right.
They're just going to play. They're just going to show love. They're going to have fun.
They're gonna make up, or not. They are gonna make fun of you for things that have nothing to do with your race. Like, why do you have that marshmallow in your ear? That's a vivid memory from when I was a kid. I had to put cotton in my ear because I had an ear infection. And kids were making fun of me because they were like, you have a marshmallow in your ear. No, I fucking didn't. It's because I had an ear infection. Kids don't care.
And I think that as adults, as we as society, if we can get to that place again to where it's like, hey man, I see a human.
Yeah.
I see a person.
We have more in common than separates us, probably in a lot of ways.
Agreed.
But if you watch everything in the media, things are always categorized often by race. Very often now, of course, sex and gender. And I've always found, again, like going to church here in Texas, like one I went to in Carrollton was very mixed. It was almost 50-50.
Absolutely.
Always had very good interactions.
I was wrong. The cigar ashes, they did hold up.
And there was a disconnect from going, well, hold on a second. On TV, they're making it seem like we're worlds apart.
Right.
Those aren't my interactions on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And even with myself, he gave you the thumb up or something.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I don't know what he's doing.
All right, cool. But in a place such as that, you're supposed to be open, welcoming. In hospitals and churches, everybody's supposed to be
Right.
open to it. You're welcome. Hey, come on in.
Yeah.
And I think that as society, we shouldn't get too far from that in which we couldn't find a place of, hey man, I just want to reach you.
Yeah.
I want to know you.
Right.
What is it about you?
Well, one thing I'll say, because you talk about sort of your interactions that maybe some people might clutch their purse, right, or have these sort of preconceived
I've had it
notions.
happen to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, if anything happened by law, I'd have to
Yeah.
protect you.
And I think
I'm not the threat.
Well, and I think for sure there are some people who have those preconceived notions, right? And black people are probably sometimes, like you're saying, you have to go out of your way because you're concerned of them thinking maybe let's say you're violent.
Right.
On the flip side, you have white people often now. They're very afraid of interacting with black people because they're afraid of being accused of being racist. That's a
If I interacted with a guy that looked like this guy, I would not think that he's gonna rob me. He does not look like somebody that's gonna rob somebody. Somebody with muscles like that. I've never seen like any random videos of like buff guys robbing people. Probably has something to do with the discipline.
fear that a lot of white people have now.
Okay.
That I think maybe sometimes black people don't. Well, we all have our kind of concerns because that white woman may have been mugged. You know what I mean? She may have had a life, like you said, a life experience and wants to avoid it. And if we don't talk, then it just gets worse. Right? We
Right,
just separate
absolutely.
more and more.
I've had in my experiences as well, and I also have a young lady that I was in a relationship. She's Caucasian. We have a beautiful triracial baby together, and her experiences and a lot of the things that I've exposed her to about my world
Yeah.
before she would ever have known, because they don't teach that in school. They don't teach certain aspects of culture
Right.
on that side of the world.
Yeah.
Kind of from being from Whitesboro or Pottsboro, they don't teach
Yeah.
what I learned.
It has white in the name.
That's a town.
Yeah,
okay?
I know, yeah.
It's
There's
a
also
town.
white settlement.
Yeah,
So I
it's
came
a
from
white
Canada. I'm like, how the hell do you name a town this? Like,
It's a
how do you get
town.
away with it? I know. Oh, I get it.
I have nothing to do. That was years before.
No, no,
I got it.
yeah,
But
yeah, I
same.
get it.
Just the exposure itself, and now it's more than it's more than, well, hey, I understand him.
I think this dude's gonna make me give Crowder a like.
Yeah.
I'm receptive to him.
Right.
Okay, he's not bad. His family isn't bad. They're not bad. They're loving just like
Yeah.
everyone else.
What do you think, kind of, especially here in Deep Elm? What would you say the results were afterwards of, since you're saying we don't want to just label people by race, but like, Black Lives Matter, and there's a lot of fallout from that. How would you classify that now? Would you say it was good for relations across the country?
I think the topic itself was specific for that. Not that anything. No one's lives matter. Everyone's lives matter.
Yeah.
In my opinion, even from my aspect, from my side looking in, I'll stand in the front of the line, and I'm the other guy that they're saying, "Hey."
So another black guy says all lives matter. So what was with all these white people saying that if you say all lives matter, you're racist and a bigot? But the black people are saying, hold up. Was the media running bullshit to get us all pissed off at each other? What is the... I wonder what the end goal for that is. Couldn't be money, power, and fame.
F you guys.
Because you're a cop.
You know, they're saying F you guys, but wait.
Right.
Hey, dude, my life don't matter. You're just mad at me because of the uniform. It's like working at any other place. Whataburger or Walmart. It's my uniform. It's who I am, but it doesn't dictate.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what it was like here for you, but my dad over there, he was born and raised in Detroit, in the bad area of Detroit.
Yeah,
and the people that had it worse there, the worst were black cops in Detroit. They would have to go home in unmarked cars when the riots were happening, because a lot of them were seen as, they would say Uncle Toms, and they were threatened, they were targeted.
The story of Uncle Tom, but that's,
I know. Well,
that's not even.
No, it's a good point. It's like using something. You're like, I don't think you know what you're saying.
You don't read a book. Read. It's not a.
That would be a good start.
But
yeah, no, that would be a good start. But black cops in Detroit, I don't know but it was really, really bad.
And I think that all lives matter in itself, but in particular on that time frame.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying. Hey, listen, whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
Dude is reaching for his wallet. Let him get his wallet.
Right.
And that's saying from both sides of the fence for myself.
Right.
Hey, man, let him get his wallet.
So what you just said, and you just touched, I just had a guy was talking, he said the exact same thing that you just said, right? Everybody's lives matter, all lives matter. Now here's a question that I would have, and if you, I know I don't have unlimited time, but that was something that a lot of people said. Also, people need to learn to deal with cops. Cops need to learn to deal with people. Because that's a big problem. Because if you're like, hey man, my wallet's in my pocket, do you mind if I get it real quick? Because that's what you're wanting me to do, right? And I'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, all right. And then you say like, I'm moving my hand right here over to my back pocket where my wallet is, and I'm pulling it out, see? And then slowly pull it out exactly where he can see it. Turn your ass to him. Show him your ass where your wallet is so he can see that you're not trying to pull a gun out. Or get shot. I mean, whatever you want to do. I don't agree that you should have to do that, but it's how it is, man. So white people say, look. Not around here. Cops are cool around here. Most you're going to get around here is like maybe a speeding ticket. If you got drugs on you, then they'll take your drugs and you'll get a fine. Depending on what it is. If it's like meth or cocaine, you're gonna do some jail time. I think all lives matter, and they were called racist or white supremacists if they said exactly what you just said.
That's ignorance.
But can you see how that makes white people afraid to even voice an opinion that's the same as yours? In other words, we share the opinion, but I'm telling you, just like you're saying a lot of.
But it wasn't about. It's basically okay. This is where we're standing.
Right.
Stand with me. I get it. I'm not saying yours doesn't, but we're all unified, saying, hey, these lives matter. This specific person, this specific group, this specific people.
Yeah.
Their lives matter.
Sure.
So it wasn't necessarily, oh, you're racist because you're saying all lives matter. We're not talking about that other part right now. We're just talking about this part.
Yeah.
So let's focus and fix and help here.
Yeah, but like you just said though, right? That's not what you just said, that all lives do matter, everyone's lives. And there are a lot of white people who come from poor areas too, right? Who have struggles, and they were saying, well, hey, we need to fix this. And if you think the system is rigged because it's racist, and by the way, I think the justice system has a lot of problems. I think that if you just see it as a white and black thing, you're going to miss a lot of the problems, right? And so saying, if we need to fix this system. No, it's a poor and rich problem, because you don't see rich black people going down like these poor black people and poor white people. A lot of us are like just recycled through the system over and over again on bullshit charges. Like you get pulled over, in a town that you don't live in, they take your license away, right? Then you got a court date in that town. How you gonna get there? You gotta get a ride. You don't know anybody. There's like 50 people in your town. The nearest town is 30 minutes away. What are you gonna do? Walk? There's no phones. There's no phone signal because this is 2002. And then no court date. Gets a court date, doesn't show, another charge. And then they come get you, you get arrested. They keep you maybe overnight, or they just process you and like get you out of there. You got another court date for the court date that you missed. You can't make it to that one either. Shit.
let's try calling the cops up and ask if they could give us a ride. Nope. They say no. They can't do that. Looks like you're missing another court date. There's another charge. That's 2 charges. And then finally, you're able to get a job. But it's too far to walk. And you got some health problems by now. So you got to drive. But they took your license away. So you get pulled over. Now you're in jail for 60 days. And it just keeps going like that over and over and over again.
We can't just approach it from
I know so many people who just spend their whole lives doing that. Just waiting to get arrested over some bullshit that doesn't matter.
a racial angle, that all lives matter, that justice matters, period, and it's not being done.
Just because they want some money.
Then you can get to the solution. But I'm telling you that a lot of white people were scared, obviously, because crime obviously went up here, had to board up their businesses, and they were afraid to voice their opinion or reach out like now and just talk to people because they're afraid of being called a racist.
That's something that's internal with you. Because I never said, hey,
not you, but I'm saying that the media labeled everyone that way. Yeah.
People or black people as a culture, they never said, hey, don't come talk to me. You just automatically shut up and say, well, I can't get my opinion.
Point.
Why?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you didn't have it. No, nobody told you couldn't. I want to hear you. I want to be
right.
I want to know what you're thinking, because if I can't get it, if I don't know what's in your head, I can't hear out of your heart. You have Jesus is risen on your chest. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth is going to speak.
Right.
So whatever your mouth says, that was in your heart.
Right.
So let me know what's in your heart.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. It's like you're saying, if they don't reach out, it's usually white people using it as a weapon, calling other white people racist, and then they shut down. And then this divide gets created.
Absolutely.
Let me ask something like this. Like, these are some hot button issues right now.
Gotta,
all right. Let me ask you. Right now, a big issue, for example, I think we probably share a lot in common here.
Okay.
Black and white people across the board. Trans men competing, biological men in women's sports. That's
okay.
Where do you line up on that?
I don't have an opinion.
You don't have an opinion?
I don't.
All right.
I genuinely don't.
Same. You're going to allow the rules, or if you're going to have the rules allow those things, sure. Not really into sports. Not really into like all the gladiator games. Not into like Olympics. None of that. Doesn't get me. I like fighting, but not UFC. I like actual fighting, not for sport.
Don't have an opinion.
Okay. Let me ask you this. The idea of, voting, because you said you enforce the law. I don't want to, you have to keep it secret. People vote, right? Voter, just any kind of identification. I think that's something that's been turned into a racial issue, which doesn't seem like it should be.
I think it's more difficult for certain people to get it.
Yeah.
The opportunity, and even if you've already paid this is my take, if you've already paid your debt to society, you've already done what you've had to do, why can't you at this point?
Can't you vote?
Yeah, why can't you vote?
Well, just to make sure that you're the guy or girl voting.
Well, even still, who often says, hey, my name is John Jacob
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Right.
His name is my name, too.
Or I'm just, hey, man, my name is Eric. And
dude was from Whitesboro, by the way.
Oh, my gosh. Tripping. Oh, my God. No, but I don't know. I think that everybody should have a voice.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, what side of the fence you're on, in the middle, or far on the right, far on the left. What's your voice?
Yeah.
Speak your piece.
All right, man. And then, that's what we're trying to do. And I think it's a lot more productive than what you hear in the media.
Absolutely.
People sitting around, it's just...
Absolutely. It ain't so bad. It ain't so bad.
There you
Calm
go.
down.
You heard it from him.
Breathe. It ain't so bad.
All right.
We're going to do it together. Everybody does it better together.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you taking the time, man. That was
Thank you,
really,
brother.
really productive.
All right,
God
man.
bless.
Well, there's more.
Jordan? My brother's name is Jordan. I'm Steven. Nice to meet you, man. How would you classify or characterize, where we are as a country right now, racially, between, black, white?
Not in a good spot.
Not in a good spot?
No.
No, you think it's worse?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this
So,
guy's probably
why
got
would
some
you
differing
say
opinions.
Worse than when, or why?
I mean, it's just. I don't know what the root cause of it is. It's just we're not in a good spot. It's just, I mean, you look at events. I mean, even most recently, it happened this weekend. It's like it just shows where it's kind of like going to race wars. It's just different times.
And this is kind of what you see that in the media, right? A lot. But, being a comedian, having spent a lot of time around black comics, or a lot of black people just disproportionately in comedy, and then I've gone to churches that are very mixed. My interactions on a personal level are very positive, lifelong relationships. But if you watch the media, you're going to hear about the race wars and the division. Do you think there's maybe that? Are your personal interactions with white people worse than ever?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what? What kind of stuff do they do?
I mean, you have all kinds of stuff. You have the people that think it's acceptable to touch your hair, like you're a dog. You have the people that, I mean, it's all kinds of different things that just happen.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, okay, yeah, that's not acceptable by no shape, form, or fashion, so I don't know why we're doing this.
That seems like a jump, though, from that to race war.
Well, I mean, it's like, I'm trying to think of some other things that have happened. I've been called names by people.
Yeah.
It's been all kinds of like random things.
Yeah.
I've been not welcome inside of places before. It's all kinds of like, it just depends on like where you're at.
Are you from Dallas here originally?
Yeah.
What area specifically?
Mansfield.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to, Mansfield, where is that?
By Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice area. So what was it like being raised? Like, how would you classify your neighborhood? How would you sort of describe it?
I mean, Mansfield's a primarily, I think, white area.
Yeah.
Suburban America.
Mm-hmm.
Actually was one of like the last school districts in the country to desegregate.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, it's,
It really sucks being the only black guy in an area full of nothing but white rednecks with money. Because, yeah, you know how that goes. Money, white people versus poor black guy, single black guy that I mentioned was poor. I don't even know if he was poor, but compared to the white people, he is poor.
they have their problems. I didn't really deal with much there.
Right.
I think I really was exposed to stuff until I was an adult.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was mostly white suburban, so you'd think you'd be exposed to those people when you. So you're saying when you were young, it was mostly decent.
Yeah.
Interactions.
Yeah, that's about how it goes.
What do you think about bringing that up? This is a white guy's perspective. The segregation coming back in colleges and black-only spaces, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned to be desegregated. We're moving back toward that under different guise. Where do you line up on that? You think that's productive?
What do you mean?
To have black-only spaces either in high schools or colleges, right? To label those things seems to me, as an ignorant white guy, it's kind of like segregating again.
I can see that. I mean, I think it's everybody needs their safe space to where they can go be their authentic self, where they can really like vibe with other people that are
Authentic
like
self.
them.
What does that even mean, authentic self? You don't know who you are until you're dead.
I'm not saying like it should be like, oh, white only or black only locations or spots or stuff, but like, I mean, if you see black people gather in certain places, like, okay.
No, I mean, those are policies. Like, those are actual policies, like at schools now, where they'll have black-only spaces, which doesn't seem like that's really...
What school was that?
We had it start with Mizzou, right? And there have been a few others in, so we just had the affirmative action ruling, where they said no, okay, because Asians were sort of suffering at the hands of Harvard and Brown. Where do you line up on that? Do you think that it's, do you think that that's an issue that anyone who would say, you know what, I don't think that categorizing people, accepting them by race, even if you disagree with them, does that make that person a racist who thinks affirmative action is maybe not the best?
Asians are too smart. We can't let them into Harvard because they're going to take all of our money. That was the thinking of those white people
So if you don't agree with affirmative
who say they're not racist.
action, are you a racist?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you're a racist, but I mean, you should probably look at history to see like, hey, why do we have affirmative action, and then what's the importance of it?
Yeah.
I mean, whenever you got to realize, like, people, I've been hired at jobs before because they told me I'm black.
Right.
That's not acceptable.
Right.
So it's like, it gets used in.
That's affirmative action.
Sometimes used in good ways, sometimes used in bad ways. Moments like that, it's like, okay, cool. I'd rather you look at like my qualifications, see like, hey, what is it that I do?
Right.
And see like, okay, great, you're the best candidate for this. Versus like, okay, cool, you got it because you're black.
Okay.
So I mean, it just depends overall.
So it sounds like you're saying that maybe affirmative action not a great thing if someone's just hiring you because of your race.
I think.
I mean, that's all it does. There is nothing else about it. It's hiring people based on their race, right? And honestly, that's got to be a terrible feeling.
Good luck in my town getting hired based on your race because you got McDonald's, you got Taco Bell, you got the grocery store, you got Dollar General, you got Subway. Pretty much that's it. That's all the jobs in my town. And they do not discriminate because they will take anybody and everybody.
Feeling if you're like, well, I feel like I've accomplished a lot. I'd rather you look at my accomplishments than just say I'm hiring you because you're black. that seems racist to me.
Well, I mean, part of the thing is like, I don't know, no offense to you, but I don't know if white people understand this, but it's like, black people just get looked over all the time. Where it's like, it doesn't matter what our accomplishments are. If you look at me on a piece of paper and a white person on a piece of paper, it's going to be two different experiences.
Okay.
I've seen it firsthand in corporate America. I've seen it firsthand in universities as well.
So this is one thing that I think maybe can you maybe come to a place of with white people here?
I think this dude's just in the wrong place. Is he near the city? Is he in the city? Because, like, I'm nowhere close to I think nearest city is, like, 4 hours in each direction. And, like, there's, like, if somebody's racist here, they're just gonna, like, say something real quick. No bosses are racist. Because, for one, we've got Africans everywhere now. We got South Africans, the white kind. We got the black kind. They're everywhere. We got like a whole group of people from like Nicaragua. And they're black. Everybody likes them.
Say I'm a white business owner, okay? You just voiced displeasure, and I understand, with someone not hiring you, looking at 2 resumes because they don't necessarily know. Okay. But then you also said that it was kind of crappy that someone hired you because you're black. What's a white business owner to do?
I mean, here's the thing. It shouldn't have to be something that's a policy that's there. It should just be something that you're doing because it's the right thing to do. It shouldn't be like a thing of, okay, cool, I know I need to.
Yeah, except they're not doing it because it's the right thing to do. They're doing it because they're going to make money. Because that's all they ever do. They don't actually want to help. They want to somehow make money for somebody.
To increase my diversity numbers, because that's normally what it is. I need to increase my diversity numbers, and then from there, we're going to hire black people. So it's like, no, that's just the right thing to do. Marry your customers.
What is the right thing to do, to hire based on race, or to hire based on
the right thing to do is
qualifications?
hire diversity. Have a diverse workforce.
But what if they're not the best person?
Then hey, you can find people. If like they say, Beyonce can find 14 black trombonists, I'm sure you can find one black person to join your team. It's not that hard.
But somewhere there's likely a Japanese American trombonist who got screwed out of a job, was very good at it, just like Harvard and Brown, right?
I think this guy's very smart. I don't think he knows what this stuff's for, or what it's about, or like where the heart of racism even comes from. Because I'll tell you something. There's racism. It comes from a little bit of history. A lot of it is differentism and just wanting to say the most hurtful thing that they can possibly say. Even if they're not racist, they'll say racist things to you because they know that it will hurt your feelings. Because people want to hurt people's feelings when they're feeling bad because it makes them feel better.
Higher SAT scores,
which is fine. I mean, it's one of those things. It's just.
Are they racist?
No, I mean, it's one of those things where you know what you want. So it's like, okay, if you know what you want, then like.
But what if you don't want it? What if you just want the best trombonist?
Then do what you have to do.
Okay, no, so it sounds like we would find common ground and then hire the best person and do what you want, and it shouldn't be policy to force on someone, because that doesn't turn someone not racist.
No. You're trying to work your way around to agree with him. He is disagreeing with you. You two disagree. Stop trying to agree. Just I don't know if he's doing it because this dude's black and he just wants to agree and have like an agreement video. It's cool to disagree. Come on, dude.
It's not going to hire black people because of affirmative action, no matter what, right? But maybe someone else might hire you just because you're black, and that's a crappy feeling, as opposed to your accomplishments.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that makes sense. I was trying to make sure that we understand where we line up. And safe spaces we were talking about, that could apply like black, white, gay, straight. I would assume that would also be kind of, as far as identity, intersect, all that. Those would be things that you're talking about.
Yep.
So he's using the words of, okay, I get it. He's using the words of the left. He's probably got a bunch of leftist friends. But what he's getting at is we should be civil. That's okay. Yeah, be civil. I don't know if I agree with him still, because like the way he's saying it, don't agree with that. Don't agree with Crowder trying to work his way around to agreeing with him.
Yeah. All right. No, I appreciate it. I'm glad we had this conversation, man.
Cool.
Jordan, I know you got to go. Boy, it's like I'm sweating like a stuck pig here.
No, it's all good.
So, no, I appreciate you taking the time.
All right, cool. No problem.
Thanks,
Have
bro.
a good one.
Take care. Well, there you have it. We'll continue to test my hypothesis that the narrative the mainstream media is so desperately trying to force down your throats may not be reflective of what you experience in the real world. And hey, just look at how much can be accomplished by actually talking with people. Grab your neighbor, pick their brains, ask them the real questions that you might have been afraid to, and you might be surprised with the answers. And please, listen. You may find that you have a lot more in common with your fellow American, black or white, than you think. If you want more of these, hit like, comment below. This has been Black and White on the Gray Issues. If you like this video, subscribe and consider joining us for our next installment of this series where things get a little spicy.
And now I feel like I'm in a
You'll
trap.
be able to see the behavior that you have exhibited here, and not myself. And you can watch it. You
Okay.
can rewind it.
That's what you
because
think of black women.
Why do we go to? Remember, none of this is possible without you.
Hold on. That's what you think of black women.
That's what you think of black women.
Why do we go to?
That girl knows. That is a smart girl. Oh, I want to see that. Is that in part 2? Because this is part 1, right? I saw that. That'd be great because I want to actually see some disagreement. I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna dislike it. Because I liked that one guy, the buff guy, but I disliked that what Steven Crowder did with that other guy, trying to have an agreement salad. No, thank you.